The void was silent, too silent. Captain Jarkel of the Xarnathi Dominion stared out from the bridge of the Voreth's wrath, the Empire's pride and terror, as the pale blue orb of Earth rotated slowly below. It was a speck, a forgotten backwater to most of the galaxy, yet here it was, glowing with an unsettling calm amid the swirling stars. Status report, Jarkel commanded, voice sharp and calm. Lieutenant Vash stirred from her station, fingers flying over holographic controls, all sensors operational. No hostile activity detected. Planetary defenses appear minimal. No missile batteries, no orbital cannons, nothing on the scale of a standard Imperial annexation target. Jarkel frowned. The reports from the probe scans months ago had hinted at a technological level just shy of spacefaring. But no records existed in the Dominion's vast archives. A planet this large and resource-rich should have been catalogued. The silence was unnatural. "Try communication channels," he ordered. "Open a broadcast frequency. Let's see if they're willing to talk." Static filled the airwaves. The Voreth's wrath repeated the call in the Xarnathi lingua, then in the Galactic standard tongue, and finally in a dozen known dialects of neighboring species. No response came. No signals. No messages. The only reply was the steady rotation of Earth beneath them. "Strange," murmured Vash. "No detectable radio emissions, no surface lights even in the cities, almost like the planet is, holding its breath." Jarkel's gaze hardened. "Prepare a landing party. If they refuse to respond, we take the planet by force. The Empire cannot afford to ignore potential rivals or hosts to hostile forces." The Voreth's wrath shifted in orbit, its massive engines humming softly, casting a pale blue glow on the crew's faces. Moments later, a sleek shuttle detached, carrying the envoy team. Among them was Ambassador Klar, a diplomat with a reputation for cold efficiency, and a squad of elite guards. The shuttle pierced the upper atmosphere, descending through swirling clouds into the calm stillness of Earth's lower orbit. Inside the Tharsis Prime Orbital Station, Ambassador Rael Kingston watched the shuttle approach on his monitor. His expression was unreadable, but his fingers tightened around the armrests of his chair. They had known this day would come. The Xarnathi Dominion's expansion was inevitable, an empire built on conquest and subjugation. But Earth was ready, more than ready. They had waited, built, prepared in silence. The shuttle docked smoothly. The airlock hissed open. Klar stepped out, his imposing frame clad in dark armor, his alien eyes scanning the station's sterile interior. Rael met him at the docking bay, alone except for a few aides. No weapons, no armed escorts. "Ambassador Klar," Rael said, voice calm but firm. "Welcome to Earth's defense platform." Klar's lips curled in a disdainful sneer. "Earth, a primitive world. Your submission is requested. The Xarnathi Dominion demands it. Accept our rule, and you will be spared." Rael met the alien's gaze without flinching. "Submission is not in our nature. But neither is senseless war." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Then you leave us no choice." Rael's fingers hovered over a console. "Perhaps." He pressed a single button. Suddenly, the Voreth's wrath shuddered miles above them. Power flickered across its hull as invisible tendrils of electromagnetic pulses struck with surgical precision. The flagship's engines coughed. Systems faltered. "Impossible," Klar shouted, stumbling back. "What is this sorcery?" Rael's voice was steady, cold as ice. "Not sorcery, Ambassador. A warning. Earth's defenses extend far beyond what you see." The shuttle crew scrambled, trying to reactivate systems, but the Voreth's wrath drifted helplessly, caught in a silent net of human technology. Klar growled, "You will regret this insolence." Rael's eyes gleamed. "Try us." Back on the Voreth's wrath, Captain Jarkel's voice crackled over the comms. "Withdraw the shuttle immediately. Repeat, withdraw." The planet's defenses are more advanced than predicted. But it was too late. The shock had already rippled through the Empire's ranks. From the bridge, Jarkel stared out at the blue jewel below. He saw not a primitive world, but a fortress, silent, deadly, and unyielding. A warning had been sent. The Empire's thirst for conquest might finally meet its match, and Earth was just getting started. The tension in the dimly lit chamber aboard Tharsis Prime was palpable. Ambassador Rael Kingston stood at the center, the only human present in the stark conference room designed to accommodate alien physiology. The Xarnathi envoy, Ambassador Kalar, paced impatiently, his armored boots echoing against the polished floor. "Your planet's little demonstration was reckless," Kalar hissed. "You disabled the Voreth's wrath without warning. This is an act of war." Rael's face remained calm. "You arrived in our space with demands and threats. We responded accordingly. You call it war. I call it deterrence." Kalar narrowed his eyes. "Your people are arrogant and foolish. The Empire's reach spans 1,000 systems. Submit now, and we offer you peace under our protection." Rael stepped forward, folding his hands behind his back. "Peace. Is it peace to live under the yoke of an empire that crushes entire worlds without a second thought? No, it is submission. We do not kneel." Kalar smirked. "You have no idea what you're up against." "Perhaps." Rael tapped a small device on the table, and the room's holoprojector flickered to life. A detailed star map appeared, highlighting the Xarnathi's known territories and fleets. "Do you know why we resisted your approach?" Rael asked quietly. "Because we have studied your empire. We know your strengths. We know your tactics, and we have run the simulations." Kalar glanced at the display. "Simulations. You believe your primitive computers can predict war against the Empire?" Rael smiled thinly. "Not primitive computers. Ours are powered by decades of AI research, quantum neural networks, and battle-hardened veterans feeding real data. We ran every scenario: strategic strikes, orbital bombardments, biological warfare. And every time, the Empire lost." The Xarnathi ambassador's scoff turned to a growl. "These are fantasies. You are bluffing." "Then let me prove it," Rael said, signaling to his aides. The projection shifted, showing sequences of detailed combat analysis, orbital engagements, surface battles, supply chain sabotage, and asymmetric warfare tactics that leverage Earth's unique resources and terrain. The Empire's fleets would be crippled before landing. Your soldiers would face guerrilla resistance unlike any you've seen. And worst of all, you cannot break our will. History shows humans fight with desperation that turns even hopeless battles into victories. Kalar's eyes flicked over the data, but he masked his growing unease. "You paint a grim picture, but it is still a picture." Rael stepped closer, voice dropping. "Then hear this clearly, Ambassador. If you invade, we will destroy your supply lines, your command centers, your fleets, and if we must, we will raise entire star systems. We will not stop until the Empire understands. Earth is not just a planet. It is a warning." A heavy silence settled. Kalar's armored fingers clenched the edge of the table. "You threaten 1,000 worlds." "We threaten no one who respects peace," Rael replied steadily. "But we will defend ourselves, and those who seek freedom alongside us, with everything we have. Your empire has never faced such resolve." The tension was broken by the distant rumble of orbital defense batteries powering up. Outside the window, sleek drones deployed from hidden bays, their dark surfaces glinting with menace. Kalar's jaw tightened. "Your threats are bold, human, but arrogance blinds the foolish. The Empire will respond. You have been warned." Rael nodded. "And we are ready." With that, Kalar turned sharply and strode toward the airlock, signaling his guards to follow. "This meeting is over." As the doors sealed behind him, Rael turned to his aides. "Begin preparations. The envoy's arrogance has confirmed what we suspected. The Empire's underestimation will be their downfall. Outside, Earth's silent defense grid hummed quietly, a web of invisible power ready to awaken at a moment's notice. Back aboard the crippled Voreth's Wrath, Captain Jarkel paced the command deck, frustration and fear warring within him. The vessel floated, powerless, a glaring symbol of the Empire's first failure in centuries. "We must regroup and reconsider our strategy," he muttered. "This planet, it's unlike any we have faced." His first officer, a sharp-eyed veteran named Tisran, nodded gravely. "Their resilience is matched only by their ingenuity. They wield technology and tactics we cannot yet understand." Jarkel stared out the viewport at Earth's glowing blue surface. "Prepare the communications array. Send a message to the High Council. The Empire may need to rethink its expansion, and Earth may be the catalyst for a new era." The captain's words were heavy with meaning. The Dominion's arrogance had been shattered, replaced with a growing sense of dread. Earth's warning was no bluff. It was a declaration that the stars would never be the same. The High Council chamber of the Xarnathi Dominion was a cavernous hall, bathed in the cold glow of luminescent crystals, embedded in towering obsidian pillars. The ruling elders, draped in ceremonial robes adorned with the symbols of conquest, sat in rigid silence, the air thick with tension. Before them flickered the live feed from the crippled flagship Voreth's Wrath. Captain Jarkel's face appeared, pale and grim, framed by the blue light of Earth's distant glow. "The planet's defenses exceed all expectations," Jarkel reported. "Their technology is advanced and deeply integrated. Their drones are nearly invisible until they strike, and their electronic countermeasures render many of our systems useless." One elder's claw tapped impatiently on the stone table. "Surely, this is an anomaly. A fluke in their defenses we can overwhelm with sheer force." Jarkel shook his head slowly. "I fear it is not so simple. Our intelligence shows their forces have prepared for war for decades, quietly, patiently. But more troubling is their mindset. This species fights differently. They embrace desperation with a fervor I have never witnessed." Another counselor leaned forward, voice dripping with disdain. "Humanity. They are children playing at war. Their history is a chaotic mess of petty conflicts and tribal skirmishes. Yet they have survived," Jarkel countered, "against threats far more deadly than us. And their simulations of our own tactics reveal a willingness to go to extremes, destroying resources, severing supply lines, sacrificing entire regions if necessary." The chamber fell silent as the weight of those words settled. The eldest among them, known as High Regent Valthar, spoke with a voice like grinding stone. "Their doctrine is terrifying. Mutual destruction if conquered. They call it mutually assured extinction. We have faced enemies who surrendered, who begged for mercy. But these humans, they would drag the Empire into oblivion rather than bend the knee." Murmurs rippled through the assembly. For millennia, the Xarnathi Dominion had been the unchallenged power of their quadrant, never broken, never questioned. To hear their enemies openly declare such resolve was new and frightening. Valthar fixed his gaze on the feed. "We must proceed with caution. This is no simple conquest. If we are to claim Earth, we must understand them fully." The council chamber's doors hissed open, and a junior officer entered hastily, bowing. "My lords, the war simulations leaked to the outer colonies." The room erupted in whispers. The simulations, once classified and tightly controlled, had spread like wildfire. Colonies on the Empire's fringe, many bristling under imperial rule, now whispered of Earth's resistance as a symbol of hope. A young counselor, a sharp-tongued woman named Shkera, smiled slyly. "The seed of rebellion takes root where fear and hope collide. Earth's message is shaking the very foundation of our dominion." Valthar's expression darkened. "This is not merely a planet. It is a spark." In the depths of a distant colony, rebel cells gathered around holographic projectors displaying Earth's warning. "Look, One whispered, eyes wide with awe, "The humans don't just fight. They defy." Another added, "If Earth can stand, so can we." The rebellion was growing, and the Empire's grip was weakening. Meanwhile, on Earth, Rael Kingston sat in the quiet of his chambers aboard Tharsis Prime, reviewing intelligence reports from the outer colonies. His fingers drummed thoughtfully on the table. "We knew the simulations would leak eventually," he said to his chief of security, Major Lena Kovic. "Fear breeds stories. Stories breed legends. Legends inspire rebellion." Kovic nodded. "The Empire's outer worlds are restless. They've never seen resistance like this." "Good," Rael replied. "We don't need to fight every battle. Sometimes, a warning is enough to change the course of history." Outside, the vast networks of Earth's AI war analysts hummed steadily, running new simulations based on fresh data. Earth's war machine was silent, patient, and ever-growing, waiting for the right moment. Back on the Voreth's Wrath, Captain Jarkel stared at the star-strewn void. "We were the masters of war," he muttered bitterly. "Now we are uncertain, afraid." His first officer, Tisran, placed a steady claw on his shoulder. "Fear can be a weapon, Captain. Use it wisely." Jarkel nodded. "The Empire must adapt or perish. Earth has thrown down a gauntlet. We cannot ignore it." The stars outside seemed colder, darker somehow, reflecting the Empire's unease. The Xarnathi Dominion had met its match. Admiral Vector had never been one to follow orders blindly. Where others sought caution, he craved glory, a chance to etch his name in the annals of the Xarnathi Dominion. When the High Council hesitated over Earth, he saw opportunity. "Send me a fleet," he demanded before the Council. "Let me show them the might of the Empire." Reluctantly, Valthar granted him command of a task force. 5 cruisers, 3 frigates, and a squadron of stealth fighters. The mission was simple: test Earth's defenses, locate their weaknesses, and bring back proof the planet could be crushed. Vector's flagship, the Shadowfang, was a sleek predator compared to the lumbering Voreth's Wrath. As he assembled his officers, the air crackled with anticipation and arrogance. "Humans are primitive," Vector declared, voice booming over the bridge. "Their threats are empty. They hide behind smoke and mirrors, but we will tear it all away." The fleet slipped silently through the void, cloaking systems active as they approached Earth's orbit. Sensors blinked with nothing but faint electromagnetic anomalies, strange patterns that defied conventional explanation. Vector frowned. "What is this interference?" "Our readings are distorted. Unknown origin." "Sir," his science officer replied. "No known technology matches the signature. It's almost alive." The Admiral's irritation grew. "Ignore the mysticism. Scan for life, weapons, anything." Minutes passed. Then, without warning, the fleet's comms erupted into chaos. Ships sent frantic distress calls, systems failing, weapons offline, engines stuttering. "Report," Vector barked. One by one, the cruisers vanished from the fleet's sensor grid. The frigates followed. The stealth fighters never reappeared from their patrol routes. "Impossible," the tactical officer muttered. "They're not destroyed, just gone." The flagship trembled. Lights flickered. The hull shuddered with unseen forces. Vector stared at the view screen, watching the empty expanse where his fleet had been moments before. Then came the signal, a strange pulse of encrypted data, intercepted on a hidden frequency. The message was a riddle encoded in Earth's ancient languages and mathematical constants. "You trespass on a planet that does not surrender. Turn back or vanish." The silence was absolute. No explosions, no debris, just an eerie vacuum where his fleet had been. In desperation, Vector ordered a retreat. The Shadowfang engaged engines, but even it shuddered under an invisible assault. Engines faltering, navigation scrambling. The Admiral's voice was low, edged with fear. What are they? Not what, sir, the science officer whispered. Who? Thousands of kilometers beneath Earth's atmosphere, a secret war command center pulsed with quiet activity. Rows of analysts monitored the progress of Vector's fleet in real time, feeding data into Earth's vast AI defense network. We detected the fleet's approach hours ago, said Major Lena Kovic, eyes glued to the holo display. Our stealth drones shadowed them, disrupting their sensors and disabling communications. Across the room, Rail Kingston stood calm, hands folded, and the pulse wave that removed their ships. The result of the phase disruptor arrays deployed in orbit, Lena explained. They don't destroy. They phase shift enemy vessels temporarily out of our space-time continuum. When combined with electronic scramblers, it's disorienting, like trying to grab a ghost. Rail nodded approvingly. A warning, not a massacre. We want them to know we fight with precision, not cruelty. Lena glanced up. Admiral Vector is retreating, but their fleet's morale will be shattered. This is more than a tactical win. It's a psychological blow. Back aboard the crippled Shadowfang, Vector's fury simmered beneath his pale skin. He slammed his fist on the control panel. This is not over. His crew avoided his gaze, fear evident beneath their disciplined masks. The silence that followed was heavy with unspoken dread. Send a report to the High Council, Vector ordered. Tell them the humans have weapons beyond imagination. Tell them, we have lost. The transmission left the system, a dark herald of the Empire's shaken confidence. In the corridors of the Xarnethi High Council, the message arrived like a thunderclap. Valfar's face darkened as he listened to the Admiral's words. They have mastered the void, Valfar said grimly. They do not just defend. They erase. Their technology, it bends reality itself. Skara's lips curled in a dangerous smile. This changes everything. The Empire can no longer rely on fear and force alone. We must become cunning. Valfar nodded slowly. Earth is no longer a planet to be conquered. It is a storm we must weather, or be swept away. As Earth's blue light shone steadily in the void, a new chapter had begun. The Xarnethi Dominion's greatest strike had vanished without a trace, turned to whispers and shadows. The stars were watching, and Earth's warning echoed louder than ever. To come with war is to invite oblivion. The silence of space shattered like glass as Earth's orbital defense platforms ignited their weapon systems. The hidden grids that had once concealed the planet's true strength now roared to life, casting sharp beams of concentrated plasma toward the distant horizon, where a Xarnethi fleet gathered, unprepared for retaliation. Admiral Vector's shattered pride fueled his desperate command. His flagship, the Shadowfang, limped through the void, damaged but still deadly, rallying what remained of his scattered forces. The orders were clear: regroup and retaliate before Earth's defenses grew stronger. But Earth's forces were already on the move. From a concealed command hub beneath the Pacific Ocean, General Melia Chen oversaw the deployment of Earth's Rapid Response Fleet, a combination of advanced stealth frigates, AI-piloted drones, and human-piloted fighters armed with electromagnetic pulse weapons and kinetic disruptors. Each vessel was a masterpiece of human ingenuity, blending stealth, speed, and devastating firepower. Target the Shadowfang's engines, Chen ordered. Disable their maneuverability. No ship escapes Earth's orbit today. On board the Shadowfang, alarms blared. The flagship shuddered as plasma bolts scorched its hull, shields flickering under the relentless barrage. We're hit. Engines at 60%, shouted Lieutenant Harnick. Vector snarled. Divert power to forward weapons. Fire on those attackers. The battle erupted in a deadly dance of lasers and missiles, stealth fighters weaving through the chaos to strike at vulnerable points. Earth's drones moved like shadows, slipping through gaps in the Xarnethi shields and delivering precise strikes that crippled weapon arrays and disrupted sensor systems. Despite their numbers, the Xarnethi were faltering. General Chen's voice crackled through the comms. All units, maintain pressure. They underestimate us, but we will not let them recover. A squadron of Earth fighters closed in on the crippled Shadow Fang, launching volleys of guided plasma torpedoes. The flagship's hull groaned under the onslaught. Vector's fury boiled over. Prepare boarding teams. If we cannot destroy them here, we will bring the fight to their surface. But before the order could be executed, a sudden wave of interference washed over the battlefield. Communications scrambled. Sensors blinked out. Energy surge detected, reported the tactical officer, voice tense. It's coming from Earth's surface. Below, deep within Earth's hidden subterranean network, a massive weapon was powering up. The Gaia Pulse Generator, a new marvel of human technology. It was designed to project a focused burst of electromagnetic energy capable of disabling entire fleets without destruction. Activate at my command. Rail Kingston ordered from the command center. This is our final warning. Seconds later, the pulse erupted in a silent shockwave, cascading through space and enveloping the Tarnathi fleet. One by one, ships froze in place, engines dead, weapons offline, systems paralyzed. Vector screamed in frustration as his flagship drifted helplessly, vulnerable to Earth's mercy. General Chen's voice was calm and resolute. This is your last chance. Withdraw from Earth's system. Cease your expansion or face annihilation. The fleet commander's comm crackled with the sound of shattered pride. This is not over, humans. The Empire will return. Rail stepped forward, voice firm. We will be waiting. The message was broadcast across the galaxy, a declaration of Earth's newfound power and resolve. News of the Gaia Pulse spread quickly, inspiring resistance movements on countless worlds and shaking the foundations of the Xarnathi Dominion. Back on Earth, in the quiet aftermath of the battle, Rail and Chen stood together overlooking the planet's surface from the orbital station. We've bought time, Chen said, her eyes reflecting the glowing cities below. But the Empire will not stop. They'll come back stronger. Rail nodded. Then we prepare. We build alliances. We turn Earth's warning into a beacon of hope for the oppressed. Above them, the stars twinkled with silent promise. The Empire's shadow loomed large, but Earth's light was brighter than ever. The war for the galaxy had only just begun. The aftermath of Earth's stunning victory over Admiral Vector's fleet rippled across the stars like a shockwave of hope. The Xarnathi Dominion's once unchallenged dominance was now fractured by the human planet's fierce defiance. But Earth's leaders knew well. A single victory was not enough to secure survival. To truly stand against the Empire, they needed allies. Rail Kingston sat in the War Council chamber aboard Farsis Prime, a sleek station orbiting Earth. Holographic displays of distant star systems and alien worlds floated in the air around him. Around the table were Earth's top diplomats, military strategists, and AI advisors. We've sent envoys to the neutral systems, Rail began. Many have long suffered under the Empire's yoke. They are hungry for change, but wary of joining a conflict they fear losing. Major Lena Kovic leaned forward. The problem is trust. The Dominion's propaganda has painted us as reckless upstarts, dangerous and unpredictable. Convincing these systems to risk rebellion requires more than words. Rail nodded. Then we offer them more than words. We offer them protection. Technology. A new way forward. Thousands of light years away, the first human envoy landed on the desert world of Varelia, a planet scarred by years of Xarnathi occupation. Its inhabitants, the Varelians, were hardy and suspicious, their lives marked by oppression. Ambassador Celine Rahim stepped off the shuttle, her diplomatic vest gleaming in the harsh sunlight. She carried no weapons, only a message of hope and cooperation. The Virelian Council awaited her, their faces grim but curious. You speak of alliance, their leader, Elder Kalor, said. But why should we trust humans? You are strangers to this war. Yet you declare yourself our saviors. Selene met his gaze steadily. Because we fight not just for Earth, but for every world that values freedom. Our victory against the Dominion's fleet proved that even the mightiest empire can be challenged. We bring technology to defend your skies, intelligence to plan your resistance, and the promise that you will never fight alone. Kalor's eyes narrowed. Words are wind. Show us your strength. Selene gestured toward the landing pad. From the shuttle emerged drones, sleek, autonomous defenders equipped with advanced shielding and weapons systems. They rose into the air, performing coordinated maneuvers that dazzled the Council and their guards. This is just the beginning, Selene said. Together, we can build an alliance that changes the balance of power. Back aboard Tharsis Prime, reports from other missions came in. Systems in the Outer Rim, tired of endless taxation and conscription, sent tentative messages of support. Rebel factions within the Empire's own colonies watched Earth's actions with growing admiration and hope. However, not all responses were welcoming. The Xarnethi Dominion's propaganda machines churned relentlessly, broadcasting warnings of human aggression and the dire consequences of siding with the upstart planet. Deep within the Empire's core, political factions debated fiercely. High Regent Valthar convened a secret council with his most trusted advisors. We cannot allow Earth to build a coalition, Valthar warned. If they unite the discontented systems, the Dominion will crumble from within. Skara, ever cunning, suggested, we sow discord among their allies. We use spies and sabotage to fracture their fragile alliances before they solidify. Valthar nodded slowly. And we prepare for war. On Earth, Rael received an encrypted transmission, an urgent plea from a coalition world, under sudden Dominion attack. They've moved faster than we expected, Lena said grimly. The Empire's retaliation is brutal and swift. Rael's jaw tightened. We must send aid immediately. The Alliance will falter if we abandon them now. General Melia Chen coordinated rapid deployment of ships, weapons, and intelligence operatives. Earth's fleets surged forth, no longer just defending their own world, but projecting power across the stars. In the depths of space, a joint Earth-Virelian strike team, led by Captain Umir Solari, engaged Dominion forces attempting to reclaim a strategic outpost. The battle was fierce. Xarnethi ships fought with ruthless efficiency, but Earth's new tactics and alliance technologies began to turn the tide. During a lull in the fighting, Amir radioed the command center. We're holding the line, but they're relentless. The Empire is desperate. Rael's voice came through steady and resolute. Hold fast, Captain. The galaxy is waking up. We fight not just for survival, but for a future where no world bows to tyranny. As Earth's alliances deepened and its influence spread, the stars themselves seemed to shift. The balance of power was tilting, fragile, uncertain, but moving toward a new dawn. And through it all, one message echoed across every system. Earth's warning was no bluff. The galaxy's new era had begun. The stars beyond Tharsis Prime gleamed cold and distant, but deep in the void, a silent war was already underway. One fought not with blasters and plasma, but with whispers and shadows. Captain Mira Solon sat in the dim glow of the covered operations command center. Her face was calm, but her eyes betrayed the weight of the mission ahead. Before her flickered a holomap of the Xarnethi Dominion's capital system, a fortress of steel and deception. Intel confirms the presence of a Dominion superweapon project, Mira said quietly. Code-named Oblivion's Edge. If they complete it, no Alliance fleet will survive. Major Lena Kovic, standing beside her, nodded grimly. This is our chance to strike at the heart of the Empire, before they strike us. The mission was clear, but perilous. Infiltrate the capital world, extract the data on Oblivion's Edge, and sabotage the project if possible. Failure meant annihilation. And worse, the loss of hope for all allied systems. Mira's team was a blend of Earth's finest, stealth experts, hackers, combat specialists, and Virelian scouts. Their shuttle, the Nightshade, was a ghost, equipped with the latest cloaking and electronic warfare tech. As they approached the capital's orbit, tension thickened. "Jamming fields detected," the pilot reported. "We're blind to most sensors." "Perfect," Mira murmured. "We rely on old-fashioned stealth now. Eyes and instinct." The Nightshade slipped through the orbital defenses, hidden in the shadows of a massive asteroid belt. Below, the sprawling city fortress pulsed with activity. Massive factories, weapon silos, and starship yards buzzing under the watchful eyes of Sarnathi sentinels. Inside the fortress, the team moved like phantoms. Mira led them through ventilation shafts and maintenance tunnels, their suits dampening footsteps, their HUDs scanning for threats. In the control center, the superweapon schematics were guarded by layers of encryption and physical security. "We'll split into 2 groups," Mira said. "Soren and I will handle data extraction. Lena, Amir, and the others provide overwatch and prepare demolition charges." Soren, the team's tech genius, connected his neural interface to the terminal. His fingers flew over virtual keys, bypassing firewalls and deception protocols. "Got it," he whispered. "Downloading now." Suddenly, alarms blared, silent for them, but red lights flashed throughout the facility. "They've detected us," Mira hissed. "Move." Gunfire echoed through the corridors. The team fought fiercely, blending their stealth tactics with brutal combat skills. Linna's pulse rifle roared, cutting down advancing Sarnathi guards. Amir's dual blades flashed in the dim light, dispatching enemies with swift, precise strikes. As the Nightshade's demolition charges were set, Mira secured the final data drive and signaled for extraction. Outside, the shuttle waited cloaked but vulnerable. The team sprinted through blaster fire, diving into the Nightshade, just as the fortress erupted in controlled explosions behind them. Back on Tharsis Prime, the stolen data revealed the terrifying scope of Oblivion's Edge, a weapon capable of collapsing entire star systems through focused gravitational distortions. The news was sobering. "We've delayed the Empire's plans," Rail said, "but they will rebuild. We must use this time wisely." Meanwhile, the Sarnathi High Council seethed with fury. Valfar slammed his fist on the table. "These humans are cunning and relentless. Our defenses have been breached." Skara's smile was cold. "Let them think they have won. We will strike when they least expect it." On Earth, Mira's team debriefed quietly. The weight of the mission settled over them, but so did a fierce resolve. "We live in the shadows now," Mira said, "but it is our light that will guide the galaxy out of darkness." The galaxy held its breath. The shattered remnants of the Sarnathi fleet limped through the void, desperate to regroup. But Earth and its fledgling alliance were no longer just defenders. They had become the spark of revolution, the harbingers of a new order. Rail Kingston stood on the command deck of the Tharsis Prime, gazing at the vast holomap showing the final battle lines. The Dominion's capital world, once an impregnable fortress, now glowed with flashes of conflict. "The time has come," Rail said, voice steady but heavy with responsibility. "We strike at the heart of the Empire." The Allied fleet assembled in orbit, a diverse armada of human frigates, Virelian cruisers, and ships from dozens of systems yearning for freedom. United under one banner for the first time, their combined strength eclipsed anything the Dominion had seen before. General Melia Chen coordinated the assault with cold precision. "Our mission is twofold: destroy the remaining fleet and disable the Dominion's command infrastructure." Captain Mira Solon, fresh from her covered success, joined Rail at the planning table. "We have the intel on Oblivion's Edge's location," she said. "Its destruction is key. Without it, the Dominion's advantage evaporates." As the fleet advanced, the Sarnathi defenders fought with desperate ferocity. The battle was a maelstrom of fire and shadow. Starships danced between volleys of plasma and missile barrages, while stealth fighters struck from the darkness. Amir Solari led a daring strike team that boarded the superweapons facility, facing elite guards and automated defenses. Each corridor was a gauntlet, each step a gamble. Meanwhile, Lena Kovic coordinated electronic warfare, jamming communications and scrambling enemy sensors. Earth's AI systems predicted enemy movements, turning the tide with surgical strikes. Deep within the fortress, Mira and her team confronted the final challenge, a massive energy core powering Oblivion's edge. The core hummed with destructive potential, threatening to annihilate entire star systems with a single pulse. "Plant the charges," Mira ordered. With seconds to spare, the explosives were set. As the team evacuated, alarms screamed, and the fortress began to collapse in on itself. In the skies above, Rael and Valfar faced off in a final duel of wills. Valfar's voice echoed through the comms, cold and bitter. "You may have delayed the inevitable, Earth, but empires endure." Rael responded calmly, "Empires built on fear crumble. Those built on hope endure." As Oblivion's edge detonated, the shockwave rippled through the capital system, crippling the Dominion's command and control. The Allied fleet surged forward, overwhelming the disoriented defenders. The battle ended with a deafening silence. The Dominion's hold shattered. In the aftermath, the War Council convened to chart a new path. Valfar and his loyalists were captured, tried for war crimes, and exiled. Skara vanished into the shadows, a reminder that vigilance would always be needed. Rael stood before representatives of countless worlds. "Today, we are not conquerors or victims. We are architects of a new order, one built on freedom, cooperation, and respect." Earth's warning had shaken the stars. The Galactic Empire was turned away, not by might alone, but by the indomitable spirit of a single world and its allies. The dawn of the new order was just beginning, a promise that no darkness could ever extinguish.